Yeah, I can wait. Okay. Let's go big. Good. And start streaming on DLive. And I am all set. Starting early. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything late, so I'm doing it now. And just so you guys know, Independent Insider has been doing some live streams today, I noticed, and he's going to do another one. I'm not sure when. He said he's going to do it early, so we'll see. Oh, crap. Let's see. One last. I can't figure out where it's at. Okay, I'm almost ready. Just hold on to your horses. And of course, you can always come in and chime in and talk about whatever. Well, at least whatever's on topic. Gosh. X8, good. That's it. Publish. Okay, I usually don't like talking about this all too much, but it's being talked about. Let's go for it. Let me close this out. Okay, so looks like Jimmy Dore said stuff. If you don't know who Jimmy Dore is, then don't worry about it. He works at TYT, or he's affiliated with TYT, the TYT network. They are not independent media. They're corporate media. Basically, if you go to Hard Bastard's take on Jimmy Dore, he's right. Everything I heard him say about Jimmy Dore, spot on. It's he's right. And here's the thing. What a couple of let me put this. Get your own house in order. Whatever that saying is, get your own house in order. That's what Jimmy Dore needs to do. He's part of the house of TYT. If he doesn't see the things that TYT is doing, that everyone else is seeing, same way him and everyone else is seeing how mainstream media are doing things, there's a problem. And whether it's cognitive dissonance, and yes, I think it is, whether it's not, doesn't matter. It's there's something being held back. Okay. And how you like somebody, just like so Jamarl Thomas is talking about Hard Bastard's take on Jimmy Dore, and basing it on things are just different because Jimmy Dore likes and is friends with Cenk Uygur. Everybody who likes anybody is going to have that cognitive dissonance when that person is doing the same thing as someone else, or they're just seeing that hypocritical behavior, and you're more likely to shrug it off when it's somebody you like. I mean, we've this whole problem with the DNC, RNC, whatever. It's the same thing with us in the independent outlet, not the mainstream outlet. I'm sorry. Well, I would say the independent mainstream outlet. Let me just say it that way. Everyone follows in independent media, they're the independent mainstream outlet. Like the true independent media outlets are the people you don't even know that are out there. The people who have no views, low subscriptions, people who are just trying to say things out there that no one else is saying. Those are the true independent media people. Commentators, even people who do news. try to cover the news of their local news. You could see them if you wanted to just by looking. Just look at your local, not your news stations, but your local, similar like PBS, basically the people who broadcast in your local TV stations. And that very, they, I wish I knew that word. So just look at everyone in that independent mainstream media little corral, if you want to call it. Everyone likes each other. One person's gonna say something hypocritical. The one other people who follow them or are friends with them, they're not gonna really out about it. They're gonna say, I don't agree with you. They're not gonna call it out. Now, what Hard Bastard did, I mean, yeah, he's not associated with being friends with with Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore. I mean, he's not. Hard Bastard isn't progressive, so he doesn't watch Jimmy Dore. He doesn't care, and that's fine. That's why you see it. And then now you've got Jamarl Thomas trying to get in, defend Jimmy. Jimmy Dore does not need you to defend him. Jimmy Dore can defend himself just fine. He's got more money. He's got more views. He's got more subscribers. He's got more people giving him money. He can just be on live streaming. He'll have $100 within the first 10 minutes of people just giving him money. And he's just a comedian. He's not really a big analyst. He's commentator in a comedic stance. He doesn't care if people believe him or don't, or let me just say, just look at Ron Placone. Okay, Ron Placone had an interview with Graham. Why do I always forget his first name? Or maybe that's his first name. And you know what they were talking about? How if the people in the U.S. were heard all the things that the U.S. did, at least the U.S. military did to other countries, but it wasn't the U.S., that we as Americans would be all over it, saying, what the hell? That country shouldn't be doing that to another country. But you know what? Because we live in this country, the Americans have that, it doesn't matter. It's not us. We're fine. It's the cognitive dissonance or hypocritism, whatever you want to call it. And then so when you get to the point where Jimmy Dore doesn't see the things that's going inside his house, his own network, no. I mean, if Ron Placone sees it, Jimmy Dore sees it. Do you think Jimmy Dore sees the people who say free Jimmy Dore? I mean, I've been doing it, what, 2 years, a year ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, whatever. I was saying the same things, like, dude, leave TYT. I mean, and then like Mike Figueredo of Humanist Report is like, why even join TYT? But you know what? They like Cenk Uygur, and you could see by Hard Bastard's video. Yes, he likes Cenk Uygur. He thinks Jimmy Dore thinks Cenk Uygur is a man of integrity, and he's not. And Hard Bastards says he's not. And yes, look, it's a show. They comment on things just like any other news network, whether it be mainstream, corporate, or independent, corporate, independent, mainstream, whatever you want to do, you call it. They're there to make money. They're there to get people to agree with them and see their side, their perspective. And that's it. That's a commentator's job. It doesn't matter if they're hypocrites. As long as people like them, they're not going to be called out. It's like one of those books that are written about how to save your marriage, how to not get divorced, how to have a happy, successful marriage, you know what? Those authors, they end up getting divorced. That's funny, isn't it? Isn't that funny? They end up getting divorced, and you know what? Millions of people read their books. It's like millions of copies sold, probably 10 millions of copies sold. A lot of people want to save their marriage, and the person that's writing the book telling about what people need to do, their marriage can't be saved. It's the same way with independent media as it is the same way with third parties or just the political parties all out there. They're all the same. The only ones who truly see it and really care to admit it is, yes, I like this person, but you know what? Fuck what they said. Like, that's why I like LB the realist. He calls it like it is. When Graham said something stupid, he called it. I was like, I love you, brother, but you know what? You said something fucked up. It's the same thing. Hi, 1329. So yes, you're gonna like people, and yes, the more you watch them, you're gonna agree with them and you're gonna like them, especially when they say things the same way you think and say things, and that's just the way the world works. But then when you don't become critical of them, when they become hypocritical, and you're just gonna ignore it, you're just behaving the same way as other people that you're saying, can't you just wake up, see what they're doing? It's like, dude, you gotta wake up too. And sure, it's great. I mean, this the same way that you support Jimmy Dore, and there's tons of people, especially me, like I like watching Jimmy Dore stuff because he says it like it is to other networks, but when it concerns himself, his own house, his own network, no, he's not going to say it. And as to why, I don't know. I don't care. I see all the stuff he's saying. Sure, it's great. It's just kind of like when you watch Lee Camp of RT. He's going to spend more time, 99% of his time, talking about issues that are fucked up with America. You know, he's not going to really say anything about how things are fucked up with Putin and Russia. That's just the way it is. He might say a couple of things he disagrees with, but he's not going to knock him down like he knocks down United States American, the United States president. It's you're going to be, it's going to be like that for everyone. You think friends within the independent mainstream community are going to really knock down anyone really hard, you know, and just tell them that they're hypocritical as fuck? No, because it's a show. The more that there's this infighting, the more that there's this drama, the more people actually tune in and watch. They like it. They go, oh, no. I mean, just look at Tim Black, H.A. Goodman, that whole debacle. Yeah, more people followed H.A. after that. More people followed Tim after that, but more people who are geared towards their perspective on things. So it's kind of all a big drama, and that's fine. People like drama. Some people don't. But when you're watching things and you just see things that the mainstream media is doing, and you're starting to see what independent media are kind of timing the same way, and it's that wondering of, is it just the way things are, and there's no way about it. You get too big, that's where you go. You become what you end up despising, whether it's you see it coming or you don't. And that's what you have to figure out, and whether the people who are getting to that point, whether they're going to fight against that. You can see a lot of comedians like me, very good comedians that came from just a smaller background that hit it big. And you could, by what's his name? Oh, I love this comedian. I forget his name. Crap. What's his name? The one who wanted to dress up in a dress, and he left Oprah. gosh, I hate it when I can't remember people. Dave Chappelle, right? He was kind of like this underdog grassroots comedian, and he made it big, but he kind of left it, and then he came back again. It's as hard as you find it, and I don't know, did David Chappelle ever wear a dress yet? I don't know. Maybe he has. It seems inevitable. It's a sad reality, but it's almost inevitable. You almost have to want to stay small or stay out of it. Yeah, I don't know. There's really no solution. But look, you're going to be drawn to the more famous, more charismatic, more important people, and that's what people are drawn to. All everyone else is doing is going from one high personality person, yes, 1329, to another person who also has a high level personality. It's just a different venue. It's a different channel. It's just a different station. It's the same thing. You just want to find someone that you can listen to and be calm, relaxed, and say, "Yep, this guy is saying exactly what I'm thinking. I like this person. I'm gonna listen to them." And then eventually, someone's gonna tell you, "Hey, this person's kind of hypocritical," and you're kind of going, "What? What do you mean? What are you talking about? How is he hypocritical? He's showing all the hypocrisy of all these other media stations, mainstream media, so corporate media, whatever. It's like, how is he being hypocritical or she being hypocritical?" And they'll point it out to you, and you're like, "No, I mean, no one knows. You can't know. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm sure if he or she wanted to leave or he or she wanted to do something like this, they would. But you know what? They're not. And everyone's still waiting, waiting, waiting. And they're going to keep waiting until you wake up again. It's just like waking up from that dream, just to have another dream that you wake up from. And then you wake up again and you realize you were sleeping that whole time. It's like, okay, what just happened? And here we go. We're going around that same merry-go-round again. And now what? Don't worry, you may not be there yet. I've been there. I've kind of seen a glimpse behind the curtain. I didn't care for it. I know very famous friends and relatives. I don't care for that fame. And the genuineness is, you have to get rid of it when you're up that high. That you can't be yourself. And if you are yourself, you're not going to get up there, because everyone that gets up to that point changes. Their personality changes. Maybe there are certain people they realize, hey, they could be themselves with, but you know what? They don't like that. You know why? Because when they're with everyone else, they look up to them. They're the yes people in their lives. People don't like when people say, no, you should do this. Hey, think about it this way. Hey, just calm down. They don't like it when people tell them what they do, because they're like, who are you to tell me that? They've got that superiority complex. That's what you would call it. You make more money, you're more known. It doesn't matter how smart they think they are. They may not be smart at all, but it doesn't matter to them. It's like, who are you? You're a nobody. Like, that's the thing. Everyone else is a nobody who isn't in that same space, in that same social group. So, just think about it this way. Anyone could come on here. Anyone could say something. They don't have to do super chat to get that attention. You just click on this little button, or you just call in. You get that attention. Doesn't matter how many people I have watching or not. But do you think certain people will have other people on, or have them talk, and where they listen, where they could kind of kind of just see other people's perspectives and share that spotlight. That's not going to happen unless they share that same spotlight in that little medium way, whatever the medium is, not the medium way. And would they keep doing it if there was nothing to be gained from it? Let's just see, can they do it for a month? Can they do it for half a year? Can they do it for a whole year? What I'm excited about is May 17th of 2018 will be a full year where we started this. And the most happy thing I could say is I didn't have to ask for donations. I didn't have to ask anyone for money. I see this as being more important than whatever I could gain from it, even if it was a little bit more. Heck, I'd be happy with getting like 10 grand entire year, a little bit extra, buy a little car or something like that. Not that I need it, but can people make that sacrifice to do what's important in life for this country, for the world? Can they make that sacrifice? Will they make that sacrifice? Maybe even just be more involved in having people with just different voices chime in and even argue a different position rather than saying, you know what, you're just being disingenuous type of retort. Hi, Eric. It's one of those things where people make fun of MSNBC, Fox, CNN, whatever, and then they're the same people who are watching TYT, and they're the people who are watching some other channel, some independent media person, and they're saying, well, how could you watch, to the people who watch TYT? How could you watch TYT? And then you got other people who are watching other channels, maybe even smaller channels, saying, how could you watch that channel that watches, that makes fun of TYT when they're doing the same damn thing? And all it is just keeps going on. It's just like that Russian figurine where you lift it open, just a smaller version of itself. You lift it open, there's a smaller version of itself. You lift it, and it's still a smaller version. So all it is a smaller figurine. And finally, you get to the bottom. It's like, okay, there's really nothing there. What does it all mean? And look, people like who they like. Eric, I know you love that H.A. Goodman. I like H.A. Goodman too. But we got to be critical of them. When they're being hypocrites, we got to call out the hypocrisy. If their own house is in order, then I think that's fine. And I think that's where H.A. Goodman, that was his whole point, is look, if you can't see what's going on within your own self and you're just calling out hypocrisy of people outside, there's something going on there. And that's not being, I don't know what you would call it. If he wants to call it cognitive dissonance, I would say disingenuous, not genuine. I don't know. I would really like other people to actually chime in on this. But people are scared. People don't want to say they think someone's being a hypocrite, even if they are being a hypocrite, or maybe they just don't see it. But if you don't see it, then you yourself is experiencing cognitive dissonance. It's easy to make fun of people you don't like Rachel Maddow. I mean, they are the top of the top. But and then you could, it's easy to make fun of people who aren't there yet but are pretty high. Like Cenk Uygur, you can make fun of him. People like to make fun of, on the opposite side, Alex Jones, just because they don't like him. You don't like Cenk, you don't like Alex, then that's that below step. Someone who isn't as big but pretty big in themselves. Let's see. So much to talk about and say. It's also the entire premise of these people are still thinking for you. They're commentating on news that's going around. Do you need that for you? Do you need that for yourself? Can you think on your own? Most of you, yes, guys can think on your own. gals, guys. I just call everyone guys. Yes, you can think on your own. So you don't really need news commentators. What you really want is either peace of mind, and that's what everyone else is looking for. Everyone else that's listening to mainstream media, they're still looking for peace of mind. That there's craziness out there, that people are pointing it out, and they just want to do something. Mainstream media, they're going to organize those marches, those mass protests against the Russia narrative. You've got TYT or people who follow Jimmy Dore. They're going to protest against those protesting, those mass protests. Or they're protesting those mass protests, not the ones protesting the mass protests, if you know what I mean. And you've got this entire, and you've got the people who are watching them saying, yeah, okay, this is comfortable. Yeah, we could just say, yay, from my chair. That's just dumb, because no one's paying us to go out there to protest against those protesters. So we're just going to sit down and protest and comment on videos, comment on tweets. And then there's the ones who, well, you know, I'm not even going to do that anymore. And then where do we go from there? It's not like peace of mind. It's like the Fly. He's taking more active step. He's got a lot going on, and he's not getting anything from helping others. It's how do we work around this problem? Because the way it's been going, nothing's changed. It's just the same cog in the machine. They just replace it. It's just like those figureheads up at top. Same, what is it? Same shit, different asshole. You could say for every politician, especially president, it's the same thing. You're just running the same policy. It's just different person. So, I mean, not to say that things that are slightly different doesn't have a part to play. Of course, they have a part to play. I mean, all the protests since, I mean, I think I heard independent outsiders say there hasn't really been much change. I mean, till like since the 60s. I mean, that was 60s. That was almost 50, 60 years ago. I mean, are we really waiting are we really going to be waiting 50, 60 years to build up something? Building it right now, so 50, 60 years from now, they go, hey, you know what? People from 50, 60 years ago, they did things right. Look at how things changed. So almost every other generation is going to get screwed over. Maybe that's the entire premise. The only way to make things right is to, you know, have skip a generation where one generation is going to bear a burden for another, while the other is going to just be okay with it, and then the next generation pays off. That was the previous generation. I mean, there are some good people, and you know, our generation is screwing over the next generation. Sure, that's always going to be the case, but it's always been, you know what, who's going to pay for it is going to be the people in the future that are going to pay for it. And it's got to be the time now where we need to start paying for it now and suffer the consequences, and not just ease ourselves into saying, you know what, all this shit sucks, but you know what, we can't do anything, so hopefully the next generation can do it. Next generation is going to be like, I don't know what to do. You guys couldn't do it for however many years. How do you expect us to do it? And their solution is going to be, oh, we'll just let the next generation pay for it. I don't know about you guys. I'm not going to let the next generation pay for it. I'm not going to let my kids' generation pay for it when the next generation from my generation says, you know, that generation is going to pay for it. So all the things we're doing, it's the same thing. It's just like the entire Russian figurine, like I was saying, it's just a smaller figurine underneath. There's nothing magical about it. And you're like, okay, let's look for another place. You lift it up, it's the same smaller thing, same figurine. Look, that's all it is. Once you get to the core, that's what it really matters. And everyone's going to go down that path, I think. Go down that path, or just be so demoralized, they're going to be like, you know, I just give up. It just the whole world is fucked up. Everyone's fucked up. Everyone sucks. Sure, okay, that's fine. I think there are some. I would be fine with still fighting for that handful. I'm talking about a handful, 5, 10 people where I think are genuinely really, really good people in the world. I would fight for them over the entire 6.5, 7 billion people out there that probably aren't. I think they deserve to have me fight for them to I don't know, what do you call it? Not put them on a pedestal, but prop them up just to see that, look, there are really good people out there, people better than me. And then that person will say, no, this person's better than me. And when do we get to that person who's just the most genuine, honest person? It's probably the person that probably kills themselves. It's like, oh man, everybody else sucks. I mean, it's an ugly world, but we need to find the people who see the good and the beautiful, not just the ugly all the time. And once we see all the ugly stuff, all we do is want to become that. Not want to, but become it, just because like there's nothing else that you can become. And I think when people say nobody's perfect, perfect in what way? What is perfect? I mean, everyone has a definition of perfect. Perfect as being human perfect, having the same flaws as anyone else. Is that perfect? That would be the perfect human, or maybe that's the most average human. Maybe that's just what human is. But the ideal of the perfect person, in my opinion, is putting the best things of humanity forward and not the bad as well. It's what makes humans. If there was judgment, whether it's from a god, a higher being, supreme being, whatever you call it, or advanced aliens, if we had to lay the claim is, why does humanity need to exist? What do you guys have to offer? What do we have to offer as humans? What is it? What's the best things that makes us human, and that supersedes everything that's bad that humanity does? I mean, individually or as a species, what is it? For me, in my opinion, we're able to find that aspect of what makes a species great in any other species. Just look at dogs, for example. We look for them for their loyalty, their pretty much blatant, honest expression, because what a dog displays physically, that's how they feel. Basically, if we're gonna state that case, we're gonna say, you know what, we really don't deserve to. We got our intellect. That's probably all we've got going for us. But you know what? We really like dogs. Dogs, we think, are the best of what humans represent. And they're not even humans. It's just the interchange between domesticated dogs and humans. That's basically what we see. Basically, how you could tell what a good human is by looking at their dog. Because the dog represents what their owner, their lead pack also does. So if you got a mean dog, you pretty much probably have a mean ass owner. If you've got a really gentle, friendly dog, you know what? That's probably because the owner is gentle and friendly. The dog's behavior manifests based on what the owner manifests. So I don't know what else to go. I was hoping to have a conversation. I remember reading I think it was the Bhagavad Gita, or is the Mahabharata. But basically, Arjun, which is kind of the main character, prince who ends up he can choose near the end whether he wants to become the next higher being, or stay on Earth and become like that king that has peace for tens of thousands of years. When he was doing his test or something, basically, he had a choice, and that question was, all right, you can go to heaven, but then there wouldn't be any, you'd have to leave. These dogs aren't going to go there. So he would be like, you know what? Screw that. Just go and take the dogs, have a heaven for them. I don't need it. And that was kind of a test. At least that's what I remember. That was like 25, 30 years ago when I last read that. That's what I'm talking about. So we can put Julian Assange up there as far as him taking one for taking one for the team. He exemplifies taking one for the team. He's taking one for everybody. Same thing with Edward Snowden. Almost every whistleblower out there, everyone who's been a targeted individual, they've seen basically what they've seen, and they couldn't just say, you know what, I'll just keep this hidden, pretend I didn't see it, and live my life. And if I don't do any harm to the world, it's not on me. And you've got the other, in that other situation is, you know what, if you're that bystander that lets the bad happen, let the evil happen, you know what, I think you're culpable. I think you are involved. It's like if you see someone kidnapping a child, and you're like, it's not my business. Or you see some woman getting raped, it's like, it's not my business. I don't want to get involved. I think if you could do something about it, and you did do something about it, then you can be like, you know what, I did everything I could. Maybe I could have done more. Those other people that are good, they take their action. They actually want to prevent evil from winning, from completing their action or their objectives or whatnot. So, so Amanda, let's see. Hi, Amanda. So Amanda Gibbons. Yep, I see your comments. If you look on the screen, you can see that I see your comments. I'll send you the link on Periscope. We can't really put in descriptions or details. So let me go ahead and send you the invite on Periscope. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead. Here we go. And where's my Periscope? Where is it? Hold on. I see ya. I just need to figure this out. All right. Here we are. Oops. I want that muted. Sorry. Damn it. Okay. Here we go. Oh, damn it. Okay. Log in to comment. I have to log in. What the hell? Okay. I'm here. So go ahead and join here, Amanda. Crap. Maybe I just need to do it through. Huh. All right, let's try through. Let's see if that works. Yeah. So right now, everywhere I'm streaming, except for Periscope, you don't really see the join. My dog's peed on me. That doesn't mean I pee. I don't get that one, but sure, you could explain it. Jeez. Okay, there we go. You can see that. So if you can copy and paste there, you should be able to see it, maybe. This is Periscope. Periscope kind of sucks, in my opinion. I do like it because they don't really prevent people from live streaming, or it doesn't get them kicked off. But It's just not very useful sometimes with their chat. What's going on here? All right, so I guess that's all I could do. 94 broadcasts. Wow, I have a lot of broadcasts. Did not see that. Okay, I'm here. All right. Anyways, the best thing you could do, Amanda, is if you want to join, just find me on Steemit or on YouTube. It's not difficult. And then go ahead and in the description area, there's a way you can join the Zoom. All right. Now I just kind of forgot what I was talking about. Where was I going with this? Yes. All right. So there's just the different levels of damn it. If you want to call it wokeness, I don't like that term. I don't know. I'm starting to hate that term because, it doesn't mean you're really woke. I don't know. Woke is, in my opinion, saying the stuff that's going out there and doing something about it. Whatever way you can, however way you can. The best way is, what are you good at? Letting that be kind of what you offer. Is that what are you good at? If maybe you're just good at writing or reading, maybe see that you can do so many things with that. If you're just good at reading, you could just offer to help anyone who wants to do research and just read and just kind of give out summaries. It's like, hey, you don't have to read 1,000 pages worth of stuff. I'll read that 1,000 pages, kind of give you a quick summary. Here's some of the things that stood out. And if you want, there are certain pages where I think you should take a look at and actually read, type of thing. That's something. Maybe you're good at video games. I know, Eric, you're really good at video games. Yeah, word awareness, Eric. You're everywhere. You're able to see everything. You kind of see what's out there, what things people are doing. I mean, you're good at following people, retweeting, and building up that following, and that's really good. I mean, that's useful. You're doing a lot, and you know what? You should have a Patreon where people can donate to you and get you money. But it's the same with me. I'm pretty sure we just kind of don't care. We have our own lives. We're okay. You just want the world to be better. James Manitalk. Yeah, I'm sure he could use the money if we had any money. But sees positive change in the world is just something that needs to be done. Everyone's putting in their time and effort, their extra, and that's a little bit something that we a lot of people don't even do. They don't participate in anything, and that was the way I was too. That's fine. But once you're at that place where you just can't go back, like, I should have taken that blue pill or whatever, in the Matrix. You're past that point. There's no going back. Even if you agree to, why would they want to take you back? It's just like in the movie. It's like, there was no real promise. They could break it at any time. You just killed them off after you betrayed the others. They don't care. All they care is if you're in that position where you matter to them, you matter to them, and then they don't need you anymore. They discard you. Is that the world that we want to live in, where people can be discarded? I mean, just look at the wars. That's what it is. It's like, they're nobody. They can be discarded. Just look at the poor people. They don't care. They can just be discarded. That's where we're at right now in this world, in this time, maybe even previous times. People can be discarded. And if you're okay with that, I'm sorry. You're a shitbag. You're worse than a shitbag. Yeah, I know, Eric, you do. And I tell you, everybody appreciates you, Eric. People who don't are dumbasses, pretty much. Not even dumbasses, probably just stupid cunts. That one was for you, Eric. So, like, I like to be entertained. I like to think for myself. I think other people there can too. But whether it's people who are afraid or people who want to form alliances, yeah, I get it. That's a strategy. It's a plan. You just want to get away to something that has benefits for you and potential benefits for other, maybe like a partnership. That's usually not how it happens when you're at the bottom of the pole, bottom of the rung, as compared to others at the top. And it's all in different situations. Like, yes, right here, in this medium, in this field, whatever you want to call it, commentator, media, I am bottom of the totem pole. It's like as if I left my high 6-figure salary with benefits and bonuses in technology to just start working this for nothing. I'm actually losing money because I'm hiring other people to just do whatever they can do because their life sucks. That's fine. I'm that chump, whatever you want to call it. It's not gonna last, you know. Chumps run out of money. And then you know what? What's the next step for everyone? So yeah, we'll see. I mean, this thing, people like it. Other people will roll with it. They're gonna have to fund it themselves. They're gonna have to figure out things themselves. If I'm not here, and that's fine. I hope it takes off. I hope other people take up that mantle. But are they? And is it going to be the same? Is it going to be an inclusion for everyone, or is it going to be just people who just have a following able to just go on and speak? Is it only people who have faces that are able to come on and speak? So it really, it's based on whatever that you feel is necessary, whatever you think is just beneficial for all. Yeah, there are problems with trolls, but you know what? Trolls haven't been a problem for me. Yeah, I feel it's more towards other people. I don't see how. Look, I get it. Trolls can trigger you. They can make you angry. They can make they can do all that stuff. That's fine. You're gonna have to handle that because there's gonna be worse trolls up there if you ever get big, if you ever become, say, Rachel Maddow, the next Rachel Maddow. You know what? You're gonna have trolls all over the place. Heck, you don't even have to be that big to have trolls all over the place, all up on you 24/7. You could be probably some person with 10,000 subs, 20,000 subs. They're gonna be hanging all over your content. And you know what? How you handle it, how you handle all the people who want to give you grief, people who want to just make your life miserable, how you handle bullies, how you handle all that stuff, that determines your character. That determines just how, it's not just how you live your life normally when everything's good, it's how you handle things when things are hard, when things are tough. And that's what builds character. And so if you can keep striving and going through all these difficulties in life, wherever they appear, you're going to be successful if you can navigate it through without having to block it off, censor it, to kill it, or you know, whatever way that you deal with it, if you're able to, how you deal with that situation, how you get people to either despise you more or to just like you more, or say support you instead, that just shows a lot about your character and how you display to them leadership, or I don't know if you would call it charisma, just the way that you hold yourself up in life, and people will see that. Um, it's, you know, and also how you see others who gotten to a point where they are. There are people who are haters, people who hate people just because they found success, even a monicum of success. People will hate you because that it wasn't them. They see themselves as better, but they just didn't get that chance or whatever. You know, that's also a thing for them. It's not on you, it's on them. It's their problem, not your problem, if they're a hater. um the one shows you have an issue with David Brock's, Eric. Yeah. um so yes, it's good. Anyways, independent media, let's stick to that topic. It's good to keep tabs on them and see if they see the same things going on within their immediate surroundings as opposed to something far away, or something bigger, because it's easy to see other people's problems. It's harder to see your own problems or problems closer to your vicinity. And if people can't see that, why should we trust them on anything else? Like, if we see so many people enjoy and like and agree with Jimmy Dore's points, especially when it concerns outside of TYT. But when he can't see those concerns within TYT, you've got to really ask yourself, should I trust his perception if he can't see a perception of outside of him, of his TYT network or whatever, if he can't see that that same problem exists within his own space? You have to ask those things. You have to think about them. That's what Hard Bastard did, and that's a great thing. I just wish it was someone who watched and supported Jimmy Dore and was a progressive and was um, in that same space where they liked Jimmy Dore. I would love to see someone like that do that rather than someone outside. I mean, Hard Bastard, yeah, I consider him within that independent mainstream group. What really needs to be said is from people within that group saying it and actually acknowledging it. Someone who's maybe even bigger than Hard Bastard. Um, but you know what? It doesn't, because of many reasons. Um, I don't know. I don't like talking too much. I like discussions. I would like people to come in and discuss things. I don't want to be those commentators just talking about their perspective. I would like to see other people's perspective and see whether if it's something I agree with or disagree with, seeing it as being disingenuous, or maybe it's just a truthful observation, and that, you know, it just is what it is. And maybe you know, in the, like, I could think and imagine Gardenom being here. It's like, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. It's blah 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 blah. I like hearing that. That's fine. um I may not agree with it, but that's fine. I just like knowing that someone else is thinking a different way and how they go about getting to that result. um yes, stable genius progressive. Let's talk about sexy guys. It's time. Now, talk about sexy. You know what? We don't really have sexy guys that are in independent media. Who would we consider being the most sexy guy in independent media? We all know who the sexy girl is. I'm sorry. I think it's probably Abby Martin. Everyone agrees with that. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're all here because, well, not all of us. Let's see. What else can we say? Yeah, there really isn't any sexy guys, but maybe it's because I'm a guy. I can't see guys as being sexy. So, I mean, phew, I don't know. No, Prince isn't independent media. I don't know. Do we care? I don't think we care. All right. Now let's see. So TYT is corporate media, not really, but they always call themselves independent media. Independent how? If accepting money from ex-politicians or from oligarchy, if that means that you can be deemed as independent media, or just because you say you're independent media, that you're independent media, we've got some problems. I'm sorry. Same thing, Jimmy Dore. That's the problem. If you guys are calling yourself independent media by accepting corporate money, you're not independent. At least you have a different grasp of what independent means. Oh yeah. But it's good. I would rather have a whole bunch of people who aren't sexy or ugly as fuck people. Because people who are joining, they're not there for the visuals. They're to hear about what's important. So if hell, I would rather have a team of fuglies than a team of Barbies and Kens. Because you know what? That just shows you that what matters is what's being said. I'd rather have people who dress up like this than they would with suits and ties. And definitely no bow ties. Heck, I'll take 20 flies with the motorcycle goggles and the handkerchiefs, than 20 Abby Martins. I mean, Abby Martin's pretty good though. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes. And and I lean so left that I'm almost right, or maybe I lean so right that I almost left. Does it even matter? Does it? I mean, we need to get going on finding more people who will take that time. Like, people will take their time, and people need to. I mean, I'm sure everyone needs their days off. Everyone needs their recharge day, whether that's going out fishing, going out to a bar, drinking, going out to going out to a movie, or staying in and just reading a book all day, or just binge watching on Netflix. But you know what? There's also a time where you need to work, not just work to get money to keep going and buy things and keep going, etc. Do the same thing, but actually make that world a little bit better for just everyone, everything, because that also affects you. It's just that when like, I thought going to the middle of nowhere in Columbus, Nebraska would be kind of nice, pristine place. You know, it's big agro, big feedlots, big open space for corn farming, for hay, to feed all the cows. All that runoff goes into the rivers and the streams. It's like, I can't even fish there. I have to go to those dedicated reservoirs or ponds where they're stocked with trout or whatever native species, probably not even native, but like sunfish and smallmouth bass or yellow perch, things like that I can eat and just be kind of okay with it. I'm not going to actually have high levels of mercury or high levels of what's that other thing that's pretty big? P something. Damn it! I wish I could remember these things on real time. High levels. Nope. Fish toxins. There's a term for it. I can't remember. remember what it was. I'm opening up a Word doc so I can figure it out. Not at Theologic. Nope. Nope. Mushroom poisoning. All right, that didn't help. I used to be able to see something like that. Okay, PCBs. There you go, Zox. Thank you. See, that's why I need other people. I can't know everything. No one out there can know everything, and if they think they do, then you know what? I call bullshit. And you know what? We could get 4 people, maybe not even 4, 2, 3 other people. You know what? They're not gonna know shit, especially stuff that we all know shit about. So. Like I fish, I read all this stuff. I can't remember PCBs, and I know about PCBs. PCBs is the only thing to worry about at Walden Pond. Mercury, you don't really have to worry about too much, except for largemouth bass. PCBs, though, you do have to worry about them. Okay. Washer White. Yeah, okay. See, I like this. I like that troll. He may not appear as a troll. He's got the trollish behavior I enjoy. Makes things fun. Because if you really want to troll, you gotta just troll the big mainstream media people. Can't install updates. Oh, good. I don't want to install updates. Stupid Windows 10. I'm telling you, gotta stop with Windows 10. Yep. I'm somebody. I'd say that sucks. This is longer than I thought it would be. I was just hoping other people would come on. Okay, so let's see what has been going on. There's a lot of emails. Holy crap. That's fine. All right, so anyways, people can go ahead and watch their shows, be entertained. Are you not entertained? What can I offer as well in this topic that say if I was someone else, what would I be saying? I can't. It's hard. You have to like thinking of what other people would think if I weren't thinking of it as me, of them thinking about it. I would say, I would say, let's see. All right. Say Jimmy Dore left TYT and he instead went to MSNBC or CNN. What would your thoughts be then? Or say if Hard Bastard ended up going to TYT, what would your thoughts be then? It matters what network you are, because that network has influences from outside. It's a network. It's not just an individual. So it's just kind of like a political party. When we see Bernie Sanders say, you know what, I'm going to run in 2020 again, and it's going to be again in the DNC, that matters. If we saw Jill Stein running in 2020, but this time for the DNC instead of the Green Party, yeah, that matters. Whether it's politics, political party, or an independent or a news medium or media network, it matters because you're joining an affiliation. You're joining representation of what the people who co-founded or founders, the board of directors, whatever, if it's a corporation, where what they want is or do dealings with affects everyone else below them that work with them. Let's see. So there are reasons for wanting Jimmy Dore out of TYT, and if Jimmy Dore doesn't see it, and if he's that blind, why do you trust him on these other points that you agree with him about? So yes, he likes TYT. He never tells you why he will stay with TYT or that there's anything outside that TYT does does wrong comparatively to others, or he doesn't see, like, there's that cognitive dissonance. I will agree with Hard Bastard and everyone else who thinks they might agree. That's cognitive dissonance itself. That's all I'm trying to point out. And just because you like someone, it can only go so far as to how their behavior is. There are friends, I've had them too, and I'm pretty sure you've had friends too, who are good guys, but you know what? They can be douchebags. They can be jerks. They can be assholes, especially when you're drunk or something like that. But you're still their friend because you make the excuse that they're just like that when they're drunk. But you should be the one telling him that, hey, don't get drunk because you're just a dickhead when you get drunk. And if they keep drinking, is that someone that you want to be friends with? Where half the time where they are drunk and are dickheads, and you're associated with them, does the other half, the other 50% of the time where they're not, does that make it okay? No, I don't. Stable Genius. It's how can I put it a different way? It's as though let's see. It would be like, say Nazi Germany still existed, and the only way you can make a difference is if you worked for the Nazi German party. And in order to make it known that what they're doing to the Jewish people is bad. So the only way you could stop it is by going through the inside and trying to stop it that way. You know what? Yeah, we shouldn't be killing all these Jews and torturing them. And the only way for me to do it is to become a general in the army, or like an inside person who helps Hitler make decisions. That ain't gonna happen. You could disagree with all you want, try to do that little good. You're not going to change it from the inside. Just look at anybody within military trying to change the way the military works. You're never going to change it from the inside. And we can't even get people in the party that we like, in any party, into Congress or the presidency. We always have to choose the worst. Doesn't everyone find that odd? Yeah, Ron Placone. I mentioned him earlier, Chris. When he was on the show with Graham, talking about how all the stuff the U.S. military does, if any other country's military did that, we would be pretty much telling them to stop. We're at war, or doing all that stuff that we do to countries we don't like. But this Ron Placone's a bright guy. If Jimmy Dore doesn't see it, Ron Placone sees it. That's for sure. Heck, Jimmy Dore's wife probably sees it. She's very intuitive, very, very observant as well. So if they don't see that association that they have within TYT, that everyone is saying free Jimmy Dore, leave TYT, Jimmy, etc. No, they are. It's, to me, it's, the more that I think about it, the more it feels like a big show. It's like, okay, we like this guy because he speaks the truth, and except for the truth about what goes on inside his own home, I would love to have a conversation with someone about independent media, everyone, each individual, how things are within a network or company or just an individual. because that's one of the steps that we got to fight. I mean, once we just can't have the next Jimmy Dore becoming the next Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes. We can't have the next, say, Candlelight Media becoming the next TYT. We can't have the next we can't have Hard Bastard becoming the next Alex Jones. We can't just keep having these cultural media war types of distractions. It's like, all right, we're still divided, and we just keep dividing, and we can't go towards that central premise of, you know what, you just got to get these corrupt people out. We need to do something about corporate control of media that's that supersedes individuals' rights and can bypass constitutional laws. I wouldn't say constitutional laws, but constitutional rights, because they're not government. Maybe any corporation that's associated with the government, those constitutional laws should be part of them. Do you see what I mean? For example, Google, because they or Amazon and Google, because they get money from the government, they should not be able to censor people by saying that they're a corporation. If they're accepting money and working with the government or deep state, whatnot, that's because that's still guilt by association. And that's another thing that we got to think about, is how are we going to handle that part. And that's something that should be handled, whether through, if we want to try it the peaceful way, which is getting people in office to try to get that done, because we know the government can't do it itself, because then it'd be going against the Constitution. But then again, we've got stuff that just kind of bypasses Constitution anyway. Not like the amendments are crossed out or anything, but there are laws passed or acts passed. Just let's see. There's so much chat. Nope, the ship has never sailed, Chris Tarzan Hayward. Everyone should, no matter what. All right, there we go. Hey, Kevin. Someone I know who can't resist saying something. Or maybe you can.
What now?
Nothing. How's it going, Kevin?
Whenever I first come on, I gotta connect the audio device thing.
Yep.
So I'm like deaf for the first 5 seconds. Yeah, I caught. I didn't catch the whole thing, but I kind of caught when you were talking about the corporations. First thing you got to think of is when a corporation's formed, that's a fictitious entity. Their rights are always below individual rights. And you were, it seemed like you were, I know how it is now. They're acting as though, like, oh, this corporation's rights matter. It's like, okay, a private entity to a point, but I mean, there's a difference between individual rights, like people's rights in general, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, property, things like that, and a corporation's rights. I mean, because that's basically a fictitious entity. That's an entity it's just made up. That's why it's the laws of persons, because oh God, I can't believe somebody, like, there must be a group of fucking evil ass people that came up with the idea of the laws of persons and how to define fictitiously created entities and try to endow them with more rights than an actual flesh and blood person. Yeah, I'm seriously, that's what Citizens United is. That's what, whenever you see courts favoring like massive pollution things or dumping, and they just get slapped with a fine and they can just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, we get corporations. Yeah. I mean, corporations can censor people. Corporations can get away with not paying taxes to operate within the United States. Corporations can.
Hell, they get away with negative taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Not just not paying, negative. Like it ends up they get a fucking refund.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Yeah, corporations can end up going bankrupt, and you know what? The people who are within that corporation, they're not going to be hit with their credit scores. You just
it's the people that the investors of the company. That's who normally would get hit.
Yeah, but it's not even a big hit. It's because it's. I would love to do a little bit more research onto it, but if you ended up going bankrupt for a corporation, it's probably
a lot of it you can write off as a business loss and get it completely nulled and void.
Oh yes, that you can do. So if you lost money as a corporation, you can go ahead and like your future taxes can be written off for a couple number of years.
But that student debt, nope.
Individuals can't do that. If you're a corporation, you can do that when you're doing your own taxes.
A fictitious entity that's a non-existent being doing its own taxes. That makes a whole lot of sense. You know what I mean? It's like the amount of laws and gibberish they've come up with to construe it. I mean, that's how you get the whole, a corporation, how they have their free speech is money. They're persons.
Yeah.
It's
all right. So now what would it be your thoughts what are your thoughts on Jimmy Dore and TYT, Kevin? Or do you have any thoughts regarding
TYT? Pretty much a shit heap. And that's that kind of loosely applies to all of them, including the Humanist Report and Jimmy Dore and Kyle, but the least of them, but they still put out some bullshit, is probably the Mike guy, the
Mike Figueredo Humanist Report.
Yeah, but even he puts out some some ridiculous crap, like the gun control junk he put out. Like, come on, man. It really doesn't take much digging into it to realize it's like we have people that die in way larger numbers from simple common things we could fix easily with no intrusive problems or anything. And it's just crazy. It's like, let's limit the magazines. You just want to take all guns away. You've been talked into this big line of bullshit. Save the kids. Yep. It doesn't make any fucking difference whatsoever. You'll just get somebody go to a school next time with a knife and just stab 9 people. It's retarded. And then this always happens every time after a shooting, every fucking time. And it's like they mislabel take a hunting rifle. Like, there are semi-automatic hunting rifles with a wood stock and all that stuff, and take your AR-15 and set it next to it. Yeah, which one looks like a military weapon? Well, the AR-15, obviously. Do they both have the same rate of fire, pretty much? Yeah. Can they both have different bullets in them? Yeah. It's like saying a semi-automatic pistol's an assault pistol. It's just like the stupidity. And it's like, if you actually look, like, real assault rifles have been banned here. What are you complaining about?
All right. We all know our stances on the Second Amendment, Kevin. But let's talk about the First Amendment, which kind of includes in the Indy media. Now, if do you think all these people that you mentioned, like Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, Mike Figueredo, if they left TYT, do you think they would be doing the exact same thing? Or do you think they would be doing slightly different because maybe they couldn't do certain things because of their association with TYT?
They might have a little more freedom to do what they want, but then again, they could just be kind of, what's the word for opportunists? So I guess it could go either way. The world's a colorful place. Good shit happens. God awful shit happens.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of them, maybe maybe they'll like do the own thing and try to do it. Like I'm not sure how that would exactly work out. It seems like Jimmy Dore is trying to do that to some degree, but then it's also he's put out the same sort of like they're reading a script when you can go from Jimmy Dore to Kyle to the Humanist Report and also from the main channel on TYT and all these other channels, and they all say the same fucking thing, like almost word for word. It's like, okay, I know you guys are fucking well, we don't total line, we have creative freedom, and you know, it's like, dude, it's like I got 6 videos saying you don't have creative freedom right now.
But it's also it's kind of like the trickle down economics for media, because if a medium covers it that has a lot of viewership, and if you cover that, you're going to have a good bit of viewership because you're kind of covering the same thing, but you've got your own take on it. And those, like, think of it this way. I'm doing this right now, this topic. And let me see how many people are actually in here. Okay, 15. All right, I thought it'd be a lot higher. Like, it's just kind of like a trickle down of, you've got, say, like, and I've had videos where I talk about independent media people, and I just get a lot more views than I normally would than any of my other content, because it's just that, because they see that name. Like, the biggest one was when I did a video about what's his name. Hold on, let me find it. It was funny because I also got a lot of trolls during that video, but I just thought it was really interesting. Because if I did that topic alone, that I didn't even mention his name, I wouldn't have gotten half the views that I did. Where is it? Analytics.
Yeah, what'd you catch while you were fishing?
I caught a rainbow trout. Only one.
Because the camera cut out. It's like literally had your live feed going there, and I was looking. It's like right when you cast it in, a few seconds later, oh, I got something. Camera cuts out.
Yeah, I know, and I'm pissed. I mean, at least I got it on my GoPro, but I was
that was like perfect timing. It's like it's live and everything, got a fish on the hook, and then thing craps out on you.
Gosh, why can't I find it?
God, you carry a lot of shit to go fishing. Like a monstrous amount of shit. Like you had enough supplies to get like 7 or 8 people fishing with you. Like you just need a couple more poles.
Yeah, I mean, I bring 4 fishing poles with me, and I bring a bag of ice to put the fish on and all this other stuff.
Do you end up casting out and then kind of lodge in the pole someplace and then moving on to another area and cast another out and do it that way and kind of rotate, increase your odds?
Like it's just efficiency. Anyways, let's not talk about that. I'm trying to find who's the guy? Crud. I wish I could find it, because I had the most thumbs down ever. I love having thumbs downs because it's just kind of fun seeing all the thumbs down comments.
About what? About what guy? What did this guy do?
I'm just trying to find the video right now. I wish I could find it. Most viewed.
Can't you organize your videos by most dislikes?
I wish you could. There's ones for most views. Like my first one is that street flooding thing. Just cleaning the drains. I actually had 35,000 views on that. I was like, what?
Cleaning the drains. Well, I think you typed in flooding in that area or whatever, heavy storm or something. Or
anytime weather related, people seem to flock to it. And then what happened? TYT, Jordan Sheridan, H.A. Goodman, Tim Black. That was my second video, highest viewed video, and that was like 9,183. I mean, there was Amazing Atheist. So before all those, like very, very long ago, I had a reaction to the amazing atheist racist ghost in the shell PSA reaction because he was just doing a reaction to a video, so I was doing a reaction to a video.
I gotta admit, the Ghost in the Shell movie was pretty bad. I've seen the anime; they fucking butchered that show.
Yeah,
he's not wrong on that. How horrible it was, but.
Kath Casey, I just mentioned it. Amazing atheist. I don't know what he goes by anymore because I think they.
I think he just goes by TJ Kirk.
TJ Kirk. That's right. That's right. Because YouTube makes it so you can't have atheist in your name, just like it used to be with Kyle Kalinske. Didn't he have something besides secular talk?
I think the Amazing Atheist or whatever changed it on his own.
Yeah, but I thought it was because YouTube had a thing once where they're taking down people's channels if they had something like atheist or
I wouldn't doubt it.
Something.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I wouldn't know personally. You find the video with the massive amount of dislikes.
Oh, was yeah.
A random video where you had like 40,000 dislikes out of nowhere. Only have like 600 subs or something like that, but massive dislike on a video.
Yeah, I don't think they liked an Asian going against that amazing atheist. Even though I said in the video that I agree with all of the guy's points. The only thing is he just didn't add in the extra detail of something, and they're all going, well, you're wrong. You're wrong because reasons. I just thought that was funny.
That's the problem with fans. You know, fans is a short term for fanatic.
Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very much like a fan base for any YouTube channel, whether it's a journalist or a commentator. But sometimes they're reasonable fans, and if there can be reasonable fanatics.
Batshit crazy fans. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah, it's I know you didn't want to put it that way, but it just seemed like you were. There's these fans and these ones, and then there's a couple of the other ones. You know.
Yeah.
I guess you have degrees of crazy all through the world, and the craziness is boiled to the top in America.
All right, here we go. I think this is. I wish I could find the most thumbs down video, but here we go. I'll share it. I love it though. I would love to get more. I would love to be the YouTube channel that every video has the most thumbs down that wasn't like a mainstream media outlet.
The guy known for the most dislikes.
Yeah.
Like you want to set a record for dislikes.
Yes.
Yes. That would probably work too, and it'd probably be just as effective as the like thing, except for like you might not even get haters after a while. You just meet people that wanted to get this. Like, I wonder if you can trend in an opposite way. Like, You're so horrible, you're trending. Like, it's so disliked, it goes right to the top.
So so the amazing atheist TJ Kirk, I did a rant on his rant against a video, and I got 122. Like, they came out in full force. It was like, I don't, you
got attacked by a troll army.
Yeah,
you got bum rushed.
I think they didn't like that I agreed with them because maybe I was Asian or because I wasn't a full atheist. Because I'm an agnostic, so maybe they're like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not a full atheist, so you're wrong. Or maybe it's the you know what, you're wrong because you're not white, so you don't get it. You're just Asian, so obviously you support the Asian narrative, even though you support everything that Amazing Atheist said because he's white. I don't get it. But I loved it.
I don't get it either. I mean, you can obviously see the Asian features, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there's at least one white person along in that family somewhere.
I was even 11 minutes. So the great thing. Oh, I should probably put a thumbs down. There we go. I don't usually do that. But basically, if you go down through it, I just gave a love to everyone, even the haters. And I gave it a thumbs up. I love it because I always wondered what they thought about it. Oh, you know what? I should bring that to the full attention because I guess I haven't kept up on it. But here we go. And
No, too bad you can't do like the Bruce Almighty thing. Mass approve, send message to all. Oh, you guys are great. I love your comments, and then send it to everyone. I guarantee that the dislike ratio on the video will triple.
Yeah, but see, it's just a show at that point. You know, I'm not.
It's just fucking with people at that point.
Yeah,
for shits and giggles.
The entire premise of the video is to point out something that wasn't pointed out, and then everyone comes in saying you're just being disingenuous because reasons. So it is that weird fanatic fan base where it doesn't matter what it is that's said.
Fanaticism.
Yeah, the fanaticism. Because it's just like that with Jimmy Dore fans. It's like you say anything bad about Jimmy Dore or about
Agreed. Cultism almost.
Yes, that's what it is.
Or celebrityism, or like I don't know what the proper term for it would be. But I get what you're saying there, where they like, oh, this person can do no wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, like, God damn it. Not this shit again. Didn't we just have this in an election? You know, can't we take a fucking break from this crap, people?
Yeah. And that's the thing is they see that one part and saying that was a problem with the 2016 election, but then when they do it, it's not a problem because reasons.
It's only okay if we do it and we win, but anybody else, it's crime. Yeah, which I guess makes sense to a degree, but when they're both doing it and they're both acting crazy. Nobody wins except for the crazy people.
Well, nobody wins except for the people up at top because they want people.
The richest crazy people, I guess.
Yeah. And
you know what I'd like to find out? Who the fuck commissioned? You know, this is just off topic completely, but who the fuck commissioned the Georgia Guidestone? I want to know this for real because. The racist statues, at least they make sense, okay? I know I've said this before, but they make sense, at least in the American context. The fucking Georgia Guidestone things, like, you know, who made this? Who thought this was a good idea? And who commissioned this? Who paid for this? Did nobody not, like, living near this fucking thing not see them hauling this big stone things across the fucking road? What the hell?
You'd have to know about occultism and eugenics, I guess. So
well, if I ever take a trip by Georgia, I know something I'm going to take a stop by.
All right. Hey, we got a defender of Jinx and TYT and Jimmy Dore, Gardnome. Welcome, Gardnome.
Let's talk about TYT. Let's talk about you and me.
Look,
that's creepy.
Let's talk about sex. That's the original song.
What?
You guys are too.
Let's talk about Jinx.
Let's talk about Jinx. Let's talk about Jinx. Let's talk about Jinx.
So, didn't Jimmy Dore, you know, what did Jimmy Dore say about the DNC fraud lawsuit? About how donation, or even when, what's his name? Michael Schur was, I think it was Michael Schur was saying that donations were donations. Did he ever speak up about that?
Oh, God, that whole thing.
That was John Iadarola who said that.
John Iadarola, okay.
And again, that's just protecting the company from liability. Because TYT has made all kinds of promises to their donors and not their individual small donors and not kept them.
You know, I'm seeing the exact same HRC playbook. Deny all wrongdoing no matter what. Steal as much money as you can. Lie about everything. You know, it's literally the same playbook.
But I've also seen it happen in like people's Patreons. Like there are certain stages where they don't fulfill that Patreon promise. And I'm thinking, you know what, if someone who was in that part of that Patreon where they didn't get what they got, they could, do you think they would be able to sue that person? I mean, I even see it in like like Indiegogo and other things where they promise something and they may not reach their goal, so they're able to get away with it. But if they reach their goal, they would have to. But even if they didn't, it's like some people may not even care.
I think, like, you know, a lot of these would be, number one, small claims cases.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably would be more expensive to pursue than just to say, fuck it, there's my
Give
$20.
them a refund. Yeah.
Gee, that sounds familiar.
And then, you know, the second part is a lot of, I mean, just the fine print. Like, we owe you nothing. You're just donating to us. That's what 99% of those contracts say when you sign up.
Yeah.
And or when you agree to make a payment. I mean, you're entering into a de facto contract. So,
yeah.
And then finally, I mean, you might be able to get them kicked off of Patreon or something. That would probably be the most you could do. Was you could bitch to Patreon enough and be like, this person's scamming, and maybe they would listen.
What about, say, people who get censored and they've got a Patreon account, but because they got censored by the places where they typically do stuff, and like that month, or maybe they take a vacation and that month they're just not around, or they're no. I mean, can people who donate and they realize maybe they're like the big hitters, like 500 a month or something crazy like that, and nothing happens in that month because of those reasons, would that be, I don't know. I mean,
again, I mean, you can
same thing that happened with the political system. Once you get consolidated givers and they kind of start leeching onto them, oh no, everybody else doesn't matter. I only need to keep these 4 or 5 people satisfied and I'm good to go, and I can say any bullshit I want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can sue anybody for anything, dude. Like,
sure.
But again, like, you're entered, like, these are classified as donations. You're not necessarily donating to a nonprofit, but legally, these are donations. And if you were to ever gain ground somehow on something like that, Patreon itself would begin to put forward its legal team in an effort to examine this, because they would be afraid of liability.
Sure.
What let's say someone did sue them, you know, I mean, who's liable in that thing? Not only the person who's hosting the Patreon, but the company itself would be liable for participating in defrauding donors.
Do you think they'd be able to get away with donations or donations?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
That would be their argument in court almost immediately. I mean, if it even, a judge would probably look at the validity of the case, and I mean, I'm sure this has had to have happened before. I'm sure.
Or they'd say something like, we have no obligation to listen to the voters or listen to the patrons.
Yeah, they don't have an obligation. When you signed up for the service, I mean, imagine if we were to go through the print, like, we would see it in there. And I can't imagine that there hasn't been someone yet who has sued either one of the crowdfunding platforms or a content creator over this shit. There must be cases about it already.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of any of them being successful. And
here's things around it, because a lot of independent media people also say, you know, we're publicly funded. We only get money from Patreon supporters. But what if, like, you looked into the details and you find like there's like just 20 people who are Patreons, but they like give them, you can't, sometimes they could hide the amount of money that they got. They could just be 20 people who are just big in the tech or politics industry. And it would be true, because they are Patreon public funded, but those people who are funding them are part of like the oligarch or politicians or the huge tech or agro industry.
Well, that's the Ro Khanna story, dude.
Isn't it like I think it was Warren Buffett didn't his tax return say he only made like $60,000 a year or something like that, but he's got a private jet sitting at the airport just for him? Like, something about this doesn't quite add up. Yeah. Like that sort of hiding money, like on paper, technically, I'm not super rich.
in reality and assets and what I've hidden through, shell corporations and crap like that, I'm a fucking billionaire.
I got in kind of a back and forth with Jordan Sheridan's business partner about a week ago, right? Like Jamarl made some video on Jordan Sheridan, and I had commented on it and whatever. And like I brought up concerns about the way Jordan had spent his money and some of the accusations that were made. I thought I was being pretty balanced. I wasn't outright condemning Jordan. But anyways, she came on, and one of the things I talked to her about was like, hey, why don't you show your Patreon totals? Like, why doesn't Jordan show his Patreon totals if you believe in transparency?
Mhm.
And she was like, well, it shows the number of patrons that are up there, and that's how it works. I'm like, no, that's not what I was referring to. Like,
You're referring to the amount of people with the specific dollar amount.
1,000 people could be donating $1, and like 2 people could be donating 1,000 or whatever. We don't know how much Jordan, and we can't extrapolate how much Jordan is making off of Patreon or whatever if you don't release the totals. And she just kind of ignored that point from that then forward. So I don't know. Maybe like he was going on and on about transparency. If you want to be transparent, one good step is to show your crowdfunding totals.
Yeah. Well, what is this? Is creating corporate con job?
Were we talking about TYT again?
About Jordan Sheridan.
No. You said corporate con job.
That's Jordan Sheridan's book. Oh, I see. It was a joke.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this and it does.
I missed that one, dude.
I don't know.
Kind of went by you there for a minute.
It's like 396 patrons, $1,554 per capita. I don't know. Is that his latest?
Has he put it up there in the last week? Is it showing the totals?
It says something per chapter.
Oh.
I don't know what that means.
Well, if you go to his Patreon page,
is this like, it? I mean, or is this some guy doing a spoof of Jordan Sheridan?
What I see, dude, is your desktop and like
a bunch of file folders.
Hey, stop looking at my porn files, damn it!
Your TYT porn collection.
Oh my goodness! No, I'm never gonna.
Got Anna CGI'd in there.
Shut it down. The humiliation too much.
Goodness! Everyone, stop looking at my porn files. All right. All right, here we go. Like, see, it's 1,554 per chapter. Is he writing a book?
Per chapter? Okay. Yeah, I guess that does mean per chapter, doesn't it?
Okay, this is number one. This is for his book.
Oh, okay.
This isn't his regular patron. Okay, this is just for his book.
So he can do
right multiple... now. He's averaging $1,554 per chapter for that crowdfunding effort.
Oh, like this is 20 patrons, 99 per month. I mean, he's showing it.
But that's not right, because you can donate to him for like $1 a month. I was watching his show. He was like, you can donate to me for $1. So this is just all fucked up. And this isn't it, dude. There's a different one where he has like 1,000 patrons or something. This isn't the one I looked at. I don't know how many of these fucking things does he have going.
Yeah, some people have a lot. Like some people will do a Patreon for one their normal stuff, then another one for everything that they do. I mean, if you look at Tim Black, he's had one for a couple of things.
I'm kind of curious. Has any of these? I imagine some have too. Because how old is Patreon? Like close to, 5-10 years, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like 5+ years, I think.
I mean, like there's the regular one for the TV, then there's ones for an ebook, a comedy show, another thing. I mean, there's just multiple ones. And
I just wonder how many of the Patreon things, some people are like use the Patreon thing like completely legitimately, and they do their thing, and that's all great. And then some people just like, oh, I'll put on Patreon, get people to give me money. They kind of use it like a nonprofit. It was like, oh, I'm doing great things, and then, ooh, thanks for the money, bye.
I mean, a lot of these big profile indie media commentators, they don't show their amounts anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Dore, when I last looked, he was making
300,000.
He was making at least 20,000 per month.
It was around 20K a month, dude. I remember.
I could have sworn I saw 300,000 there before, like a year or something like that. On that Patreon link there for Jimmy Dore, I could have sworn I saw that at one point.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I could have sworn. Like maybe it was a year total or something, because I think he's changed how it reads out on it a few times.
See, Mike Cernovich is showing his amount, so
Yeah.
despite some of his bullshit, we can at least say that that's
He's being transparent on the
yeah.
money.
He's showing the amount of people and how much they're donating.
Yeah.
Just curious.
252 patrons, 4,821 per month.
Yeah, but it's like saying, 500 people are donating $3. 40 people are donating $5.
Yeah, they have it broken down for each pledge.
Oh, they label the numbers so you can kind of. Okay.
Yeah, if they show the per month that they make.
Yeah, just the straight up per month number is what you're looking for. I mean, otherwise you got to try to extrapolate data. What is this 1554 per chapter average? I mean, what kind of a
how many chapters are you gonna have in this book?
Yeah, I mean,
as long as I keep getting money, I'm gonna keep writing chapters.
Because I remember Kyle Kolinsky before he did a Patreon, I think he was going to get like a new office, and he was asking him to raise money, and because he needed to reach like 100,000, and he ended up getting that, and now he also has Patreon.
See, so that's good. That's a plus on Kyle's roster.
That he'll at least show what he's making.
I got in an argument with Michael Wood Jr. today. Like, go to his. See if I think he might have taken his down. He took down his Twitter account.
I don't see any results. He probably did. Oh, wait.
Michael A. Wood Jr. I think those are clips.
What? There's another one from that? How many does he have? Oh no, I see. They're all just links to the thing. So, not jur. Stupid. You can't even edit. I think he took it down. Oh! How much am I making? Damn it! I ain't making jack shit. How about? Fucking A.
I think Debbie's been scamming us on this social media shit too, man. Look her up.
What? I don't. No, she doesn't.
I know. She doesn't do any of this.
Yeah.
I think she had one on there for a while to help pay for a specific trip.
She does it through.
And it made like $50 or something.
She does it through directly through PayPal, I think.
She does. Actually, I don't think she does it at all.
She does when she needs something, like a new phone or a new camera or whatever.
You've seen that?
Yeah. But basically, most of the time she does it where someone else needs money, so she'll fundraise for them. That's what she'll do, which I like.
Aware of that.
Bullshit man. Bullshit man needs more.
Fuck yeah, he does, man. He does more than $17 a month.
Yeah.
I wish I had more money to donate to people, but I simply don't. But he definitely deserves more than $17 per month.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was donating to him before when I was donating, but now I don't do that crap. I'm sorry, I wouldn't say crap. It's good that people donate. People need it, but still, I don't think it should ever be like this anyway. They should be able to get money from ads or whatever.
Hell, Ebon, you can donate to me for a few years, and I'll come to your house and renovate the damn thing.
Renovate it with smoke?
No, well, maybe a little bit. No. I don't skimp out like that. Just upgrade the insulation. Get a better heating system in it. So cut your costs down. Basically, it'll pay for whatever you donate to me will pay for itself, basically, and what you'll save on your house.
Hard bastard. Yep, he's transparent with his. That's good.
I would have thought that he made more on this. He must have more than one crowdfunding platform. And yeah, let's keep this in mind. This is
just one aspect.
This is just one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's also the YouTube super chat. Oh, come on, HA, you gotta be more transparent.
I know that's bullshit. But the other thing is, I agree with your point, dude, that like us, the public, shouldn't be the only ones bearing the cost of YouTube business model.
Mm-hmm.
They should be paying their content creators something decent, you know?
I mean, so basically, the YouTube is making money off of the content creators, and the content creators are making off of the public, and in turn, YouTube makes money off of. So basically, YouTube has. I mean, they found a way to screw over the people, right?
Yeah.
And also still gain from all the content creators what they still keep doing.
You know, it'd probably help, like once you're at a level of content creator or whatever, like for the ad thing, instead of it just like random ads on there. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to be able to kind of choose your ads to a point? I mean, just like they used to do, like if it's not a reputable company, I don't want that fucking advertisement going, you know what I mean? If it's not a good product, why the fuck do I want that advertisement there? I don't want your money. It's no good to me. You know, it's like people need to start being a little more like just they need to cut off the thief's hand, basically. And not in the Patreon sense completely, but more like, I mean, how many fucking charity frauds and donation frauds and startup frauds and bullshit frauds and donate me this fraud and healthcare frauds and oh my god, there's just a mountain of them in this country. You fucking can't trust anybody. Everybody's so goddamn broke they attack each other over $5.
Yeah, and there are people who actually make like when a big disaster happens or like a mass murder happens, they'll do like a fund, and people just make the random fund, and people will like donate to it because they don't see that it's a fake. I forgot what it is. It's not Patreon, but it's something else where people donate. It's like a GoFundMe. That's what it is, I think.
Well, it's time that we start looking at these platforms as at least to some degree public property. We're talking about a library of material just in terms of raw knowledge and in terms of recording human experience that exceeds something like the Library of Alexandria. I mean, it's a treasure.
Have you been watching Lionel Nation?
No, I don't watch Lionel Nation. Did he say something like that?
No, he always says the Library of Alexandria. That's where I figured you picked it up from.
No, but it's obvious. I'm sure several people have picked up on it. This is like fucking valuable. Like it's a valuable, part of human culture at this point.
Internet-wise, it does allow people.
Shows a real transition between about how we record and use data and knowledge. And it's time that we stop viewing this in terms of, oh, YouTube's a fucking private company. Like, these companies are private. They can do what they want. Time's over for that. We got to start looking at these things in a different way.
Yeah, just to let you know, Ebon, I saw you pull up that Lionel Nation thing. Mm-hmm. I've been on some of his things, and through Super Chat, I've seen like $600-700 go through there.
Yeah. A lot of these people make a lot of good money off of the Super Chat. It's just convenient. I've done it. You guys seen that before?
It's like, I guess, for the impulse buyers,
Yeah.
I guess that's who it's to tempt.
But then, and when I realized that Google takes like a 55% chunk of that Super Chat, it's almost.
I thought you said it was 28.
Or was it 28? Let me see.
Let's take a look at more of these, man. I think this is informative and interesting, going through them and seeing which ones are transparent and which ones aren't.
Well, let's do Stick, Sex, and Hammer next.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So
that's a
I'm
good
trying
one.
to
Good one.
do okay, YouTube takes 30%. This guy's what's saying.
Yeah, 30% cut's kind of steep just for. I mean, it's like these goddamn transaction costs. Like, you know, you buy something with even a bank card. It's like, oh, transaction fee, transaction fee,
See,
transaction fee.
Yeah, this is what I meant. So like, the transaction revenue was $54 when. I don't know. I think it depends on the donation amount. So I think the higher the amount, the higher the take.
Holy shit!
See, it's a fucking.
It's like it's a robbery system from the poor. Like it's like it's what our tax system should be, but only for if you want to pay a creator to make something.
Who did we want to search for?
Look up Sticks X and Hammer XXX or 666. But
I think it's 666.
yeah. But the point I was gonna make was you know, it's a double-edged sword now. Then they've lined their ducks up in a row, so it's like this, of course. Yeah. That these super chats, like I don't use super chat because of that shit. I don't want to give fucking Google any more of my money than I already do, which isn't much.
Yeah.
Like, but
exactly.
No, you just give them your personal data.
But the other end of the sword is that because they have defunded content creators and because they refuse to pay their fucking fair share of the business model, the content creators who we like and we want to support and we want to see continue have now become reliant on the super chats in order to exist. Well, so now they're reliant on giving Google what was it, 50%? Or was it 30?
I think it depends on the amount that's given. I think I remember doing a quick test on it when I was with Tim Black, and like it depended on how much you gave. So if you gave like 100, it was like a bigger percentage as opposed to if you gave like 20 or 5. But I'm not sure.
It's the same thing with these like crowdfunding platforms. Like they begin to shape the pattern of funding in such a way that you have to fund them or else there will be negative consequences. Yeah. It's a stick method. And the best way to avoid it, again, is Holly's idea. Go get a P.O. box.
Yeah, definitely need alternatives. And
well, the more money, like when you're purchasing an item or donating, wouldn't the best objective to be is to get the most of that money you're buying something with or donating to be actually go to the thing you intended to go to instead of to a leech?
Exactly, dude. Why put the middleman there to begin with? Yeah. Like if everyone got a P.O. box or something, like, you know, you might not get like a bunch of $10 or $20 donations in a night or whatever, but I'll tell you what, you'd probably be surprised at how many people slip you a bill once in a while, you know, plus a bunch of little side donations.
Like,
but even that, if you wanted to send money by mail, I mean, you'd probably want to do that through a Western Union or something like that. And there's another leech. It's a lot cheaper leech, but it's still a leech.
Yeah, I think it's also hard because if someone was creating a product that can sell to people, I would go to every indie media circle and say, hey, if you this is your promo code. If people use your promo code to buy my stuff, just kind of like how Smile.Amazon does, even though, yeah, I know Amazon, but still, then you know exactly how much people they're driving to your products and using that promo code, and so you can give a percentage out to that content creator for bringing them over, you know. And so it's kind of a contest is, hey, if you promote this business for their products and use this promo code instead of this other person's promo code, you know, you're supporting them. And but maybe someone will just kind of switch between promo codes too, you know. But no one you don't see a lot of businesses that sell products to actually go that route. I think that would be a good route to take.
I think the best solution is to simply start democratizing the platform to a certain degree and put it under the normal laws of free speech, under the normal laws of what constitutes like creative ownership. See, a lot of like laws about digital content are kept intentionally vague, so that if you have a good enough attorney or a team of attorneys, you'll always be able to find a loophole in them.
Yeah. You can interpret this any way you want.
You know, so they keep them kind of vague. Well, it's time for the vagueness to be over, and it's time for us to err on the side of democratic principles rather than, you know, private ownership principles.
It's kind of like on the gun rights issue for the Second Amendment. It clearly states in no unsure terms the right shall not be infringed. You know, it's not saying, oh, we'll come up with a couple exceptions for their considerations. No, it says shall not be infringed, and they can't take into effect, well, it said well-regulated militia. Well, when was this thing written? The militia was just everybody that was there. You know, there was no military organization or anything like that. There was just literally people living in their houses, and when shit hit the fan, they all got their shit and got together, the townspeople pretty much. You know, so that's kind of screwy how they try to apply nowadays terms to something that was written and meant to be. It's also, I don't know, the Constitution is supposed to be kind of a living, evolving document, but it's not. I mean, right in it, it says none that shall, I think it's the 10th, I believe, none that shall infringe upon the others enumerated before it. You know, so anything they've done against the gun laws and against the free speech is blatantly unconstitutional. Like, obviously. Like, beyond disputing it if it's constitutional.
Well, the time has come, like, and both sides recognize this. Both the free speech advocates and the private ownership advocates recognize that the time is coming where we can't have these laws vague anymore. Like, it causes too much disruption and chaos to keep the laws vague. So, and that's kind of what net neutrality is about. Like, they're trying to shape the future of, you know, information exchange into a private ownership venture, you know, and while the other side is, of course, my side, so to speak, is trying to democratize it.
I want to know why. So, but either way, company.
But either way, the laws have to be codified soon. It really is causing too much chaos. It's causing like just blatant theft in the stock market. It's causing like just a variety of ill effects across the society. Like the ways of handling information exchange have to be put into law in one way or another going forward. We have to eliminate the vagueness. So the question isn't whether we are going to eliminate the vagueness. One way or another, it's going to happen.
What do you guys
shows it? Holly doesn't. Got to Holly to show it.
Oh, Holly, what the hell are you doing? But you know, then again, Holly does get it. You know, it's hard. It would be hard to tell with Holly, anyways.
Yeah, because
she does use the
box.
PO box. Yeah. But Holly, you should reveal it.
Good. He shows it. Awesome. I like the transparency. Is he? Oh, yeah, he shows it. Not many patrons. Does Caitlin? Good, she does.
She does all right on it. Look at that. Yeah. That's good news. I'm glad to hear that she's making a decent amount on it.
Yep.
There's a dude I've been looking at. His name's Gordon Dimack, DIMMACK, something like. There he is.
17, but doesn't show.
He's not showing it, but he's pretty early on. Like, but
his something crazy.
His videos are worth checking out, by the way. Garden gnome.
Oh, you guys aren't in there either.
I should
No,
start one of these.
I would say like type in, well, because there's a lot of crazy Patreons on there. Type in like the Muslim fundamentalist network and see if you get anything.
This is that TYT hanger on, that Jeff dude.
Oh,
TYT, you know who I'm talking about?
yeah, I know who you mean.
I'm surprised. Like, he's been rocking that for fucking years, dude.
Yeah.
He's making $1,000 a month on it now, though. But at least he shows it, so that's what we're all about here. We're not going to judge your content so much in this review. We're just gonna fucking see what's up.
This is just the transparency part.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that guy is from
transparency
Michigan, I think.
review.
Yeah.
Let's look up the Young Turks. Do they show it? I haven't looked at. I'd imagine they don't. But let's look.
You got to think the Patreon thing doesn't show the whole spiel.
And there was the Rubin report, which
I like how
another
someone
one
put the
to look.
genocidal Turks. Oh, Ruben.
The genocidal Turks.
Am I spelling Ruben right?
Is it? I think it is an I, not an E.
What? That doesn't sound right.
No, not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I misspelled it. Oh, he should. Holy crap!
God damn, Dave. That's a lot of fucking money, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you say stupid things, people will give you money.
Well, when you partner up with the right wing think tanks and like they're rich adherents.
Does he say the specific people that are giving what amounts on there? Not just the per month amount.
Yeah.
I don't. Does it break it down?
Yeah, 10 or more per month, 15 or more per month.
You'd have to calculate it, but you could kind of figure it out.
Yeah, it'd be like an average or something. There's one patron giving 1,000 a month. You know, I think I'm gonna start dressing up in a nice little thing.
Yep, start like doing PragerU ads, dude, and like argue for making cops pay to play service for your neighborhood. You want a cop to show up at your house?
Have a nice little studio set up, nice lounge chairs. Does he talk with like an English accent?
Libertarianism, man.
Oh, libertarianism. Okay.
Classical liberalism, in other words.
This is more like classical crazy.
Hey, look, it found Sam Sheeter when he spelled it this way.
Oh, sham shithead.
Oh, no.
Sam. Why am I not surprised?
Corbett.
We got to check out David Pacman, too.
Oh, yeah.
Get around to it.
Hey, Corbett's at least showing
Corbett.
it. Oh, that's
solid.
pretty
Very solid, Corbett.
Pack. Wow,
God
really?
damn, Dave. That's better than I thought you were doing.
You know, yeah, okay. I'm gonna start having that, suit and
Just start
tie.
acting like a douche and lying all the time, and people will throw money at you, apparently. Just pander to their weaknesses.
The Douche Report by Ebon Kim. And I'll have...
Well, here's $10. Take my money.
I'd imagine that Dave probably has a few let's look at the breakdown.
I mean, he doesn't have...
donors does he have?
I mean, he doesn't have like big ones. He has 4 with 400 per month. 4
at 100, 9 at 50. Do these totals add up? 32 at 25. Okay, 100. Okay, now it's starting to make sense.
Yeah, and like at the $1 or $2 mark, it's like 1,000 or something. Or no, 1,198.
Well, he's got appeal, man, and I'll give David Pacman this. He does say things once in a while that make sense.
Sometimes.
Like he's
very seldomly when he's not lying.
But he tends to frame things, and it's hard to listen to him because of the nature of his mundane arguments.
Ben Shapiro. Duplicate was asking for Ben
I thought it was hard to listen to him over the sound of the corporate cock in his mouth.
Is this right? Is that
over the he's criticized TYT a couple of times, so I'll give him something for that.
Thug Life videos, one page.
Doesn't he say a bunch of
Yeah.
That's just somebody. Yeah, that's just a bullshit account.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, I know. I kind of want to make a bullshit account just for kicks. They don't have consortium news here. I'm looking at chat. People are asking.
Let's look at yeah, chat. Come give us some ideas, chat.
Look at Thunderfooter, Cody's lad.
Who?
Thunderfoot.
Is it with the yep. It's not bad.
I would have thought he made more. He buys some fairly expensive equipment.
Yeah.
Well, you think that's the only way he makes some money? I mean, the guy's not retarded.
No, he works at a university or something, and like works at reactors and what have you.
I thought Luke had it, but I guess not. Like whenever I see Luke Rudowski, I don't know what show.
We Are Change, I believe that's his channel name.
Yeah, his live podcast. What was it again?
We Are Change.
Yeah, because they also have their own website where people also they don't show it because when this guy goes live, his super chat gets like thousands. Because I mean, there's like thousands of people watching live. But yeah, because they also have their own website where you can donate to, and they have
let the madness begin, dude. Let's see what they're all about.
$100, right? They haven't even been around that long.
149.
Oh, 149. I was
they
off.
Deserve more than that, in my opinion. I don't always agree with what they have to say, but like they do say a lot of solid things, and they put the time into it.
LB make more than that.
Yes, he should be making more than that. Yeah, he puts the time into it.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a guy who works 2 jobs now, I think, and he does this stuff on the side. Puts in that work, I tell you. Who else? Oh, I watched Truths. Let's see, Milliseconds. There you go. Come on, you guys should be able to put it down. How about Newsbud? They don't have. I thought Newsbud had it. Maybe they have a different name for it.
They have like their own website, I think, for subscriptions. They put up a paywall.
Makes sense. That's right. That's right.
Well, let's see. Like we were talking about, let's see if John Idarola has one. Donations are donations, right, John? Let's see if you have one of these and what's up.
I don't see it.
How about Anna?
Well, by True Edition, unless he's True Edition.
Yep,
yeah,
that's him.
144 per video on average.
Dude, I would be making like 20 videos per day.
See, like, why play these shell games?
Yeah.
Gotta hide that money somehow.
I'm getting depressed.
I mean, this probably isn't the only one.
See, if you were to check that in a month, like that number could be changed significantly.
Yeah.
After a period, and like it wouldn't really reflect like how much that person made in a given period until after some time has passed.
True. Like it can change once that monthly cycle is done. It could go up or down. You really wouldn't know. I mean, it'd be nice to have like a history breakdown, but it's all up to the content creators, and they don't support that. And Patreon is seeing that. And it's not like you can go and like, you know, hey, show us your W4 or whatever you want to call it.
I mean W2.
W2, yeah, or 1099 actually.
Well, we've done this part of the transparency review. Learned some things off of it.
We have massive amounts of failures all across the board.
Some surprises in there, some not. It's not very surprising that Sam Cedar's covering up his amounts. You know, it was surprising to see Cernovich be so transparent about it.
Yeah, I mean, but he makes good money outside of it anyway. I wonder what is like. If you saw the amount, would people be less apt to donate? Like, I mean,
probably.
Like if you saw like Kyle Kalinske, he's making what, 20? Oh,
making like
16,000 or something.
Yeah.
And like, would you really be okay with giving him $1 when you make way less than that, or give that $1 to someone else who's making like 14 a month or something?
For 15,000 a month, I mean, what is that? 180,000 a year. I mean, I could. How do you not have a completely self-sustaining studio that has no bills, no overhead, no nothing? Basically, just property taxes at that point. Then you have a super high-speed internet connection. Hell, with that much money a year, you can pay to have it personally a fiber line installed to your property. You know?
Yeah.
So, fucking Christ, dude. He's pissing that money away. It's like, well, I got to get my rental in my car and my other stuff. It's like, okay, if I had that money, I could buy like 2-3 cars outright, build a fucking garage, put a stove in it to heat it, you know, and have a fucking, yeah. It's like, Jesus Christ, these people, it irritates me so much.
Yeah.
It's like the whole point of the whole currency and money system is to generate services, productive capacity, useful information, things like that. And then it's like, either he better produce a lot more fucking useful information, like shit tons more, or
yeah, we don't see any change in the content. I mean, we don't see more. We don't see like
180,000 a year. Why are you even a TYT affiliate at that point?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's good because it democratizes the process. We, as the controlling interest, as citizens, as the controlling, you know, funder of these endeavors, like, get to decide how powerful or how influential, theoretically at least, any of these people get. Like, do we want to have Kyle have more than 15, whatever kind of influence, $15,000 per month buys you? Or, you know, I mean,
or do we want him to be like Rachel Maddow making like 30,000 a day?
Yeah, why should these people?
He's fucking halfway there.
Why should these people?
Well, not halfway, maybe a 30th of the way there.
Why should these people and their masters get to decide like who becomes influential? We should be the ones deciding. And although this process is kind of corrupt, like there's problems with it, like it's kind of on the right path too, because it allows us to decide, you know, not some MSNBC exec or a focus panel of, you know, people who are living on the east side and, you know, some hipsters who, like, you know, have jet setters basically, who have nothing else to do except be a part of these groups. That's how we get a lot of like our media content, is because they hire a lot of these kids who come from uptown and they bring them down to the NBC studio and they're like, all right, this is a cross section of the population. And they get them. And then then these ridiculous shows come out because they tested well.
Yeah.
But so anyways, like, why should they get to decide? You know, like, we can decide like how influential Kyle becomes. As far as Kyle's money and his expenses, you know, I'm not outright accusing Kyle of corruption because I haven't seen any evidence of it. But
I wouldn't accuse him of that, but I would say it could be for $180,000 a year. You could manage it a fuck ton better and be a lot better off. I mean,
I do accuse Jenk of this though, because there's evidence of it. And what you do is you prop up your business expenses with things like Justice Democrats and things like Wolfpack. You use them to cover your overhead. You want to fly to New York? Like, I'm going on Justice Democrats business. And then you put it on the Justice Democrats account. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think Jenk's been engaged in fucking decent amount of that. I'm not sure how much Kyle's.
But it's also where they live, how they live, etc. Like, imagine if you're like, if
for
I got
$180,000 a year, I could do everything Kyle does and be far, far better off than him. I mean, that's fucking piss poor management of finances and not thinking ahead.
But it's also like, how much does he really want to grow? Like, if he takes that extra money and does more stuff, you know, does it change necessarily what his intentions are for what it is that he wants to do? Like, does he necessarily want to work 16-hour days to produce more content? Does he
$180,000 a year?
Well, was he going to be making like $360,000 a year for that extra 8 hours per day of work? But also, what's his end goal? Is it to just wake people up to truth type of thing? And also, the more you're out there, the more videos that you make, sometimes the more people are less likely to tune in. I mean, if you had Joe Rogan for like 4 hours, 8 hours, you can be like, you know, I can't watch 8 hours of Joe Rogan, no matter how much I like the guy.
That's why I think it's kind of got to be quality of content.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's got to.
But
even the highest quality of content, there's only so much of it you can watch. Like you,
yeah, agreed. But I mean, you can condense it down and put it. It can be formed much better than it is sometimes.
I mean, what I would like to see is, okay, if you got the extra money, you know, we don't know if they're paying other people who do stuff behind the scenes.
Well, probably as a camera or technical people, stuff like that. Yeah. I don't doubt things like that.
But also set up something where, I mean, you've got that viewership. You really don't need that money to entice people to come on your show, but you can do a lot more things with your show with that bigger viewership. People who don't get that access that may have, I mean, just like, did Kyle Clancy ever do like interviews or just kind of expound on like Flint water crisis stuff? Or, you know, it just seems like that was Jordan Sheridan's thing, so he didn't really focus on it that much. Maybe it's to not steal Jordan Sheridan's thunder type of thing, you know. I always wonder if there are things like that going on where it's like, hey, Flint water crisis is my thing. Please don't take away more views on it because I'm the one that's actually out there type of thing. Or if that doesn't matter at all. Or they just don't even think about it. It's like, yeah, Flint water crisis, Jordan Sheridan sound I got bigger fish to fry. I mean, I wonder how things are in that spectrum.
Since we're doing a media, I mean, we don't know. Like, we can only speculate what kind of agreements these people have or quid pro quos they have between each other, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But since we're doing a media review, like, what are your thoughts on the return of Jordan Sheridan? Have you guys been reviewing any of those videos?
I haven't, but it would be... I don't know, because the thing is, when he's doing it, I think he's got a lot more people scrutinizing his videos. So maybe it gives him he will take a more journalistic approach to the way he's been doing things, and not necessarily just be talking about stuff, opinionated stuff, like in his bedroom on his laptop type of thing that he used to do. Remember on TYT Politics? Maybe it's more journalistic reporting approach. I don't know. I haven't watched his stuff, but in my opinion, I would think that's the way that he would start it off.
Well, where Jordan seems to be now is like he, and I have some, questions about this, but what Jordan claims is that like he's pretty much broke. Like he's got these medical problems, and right now he's staying at his parents because of these medical problems. And he's trying to raise enough money through doing these like webcasts from the house in order to get something going.
But I mean, that stuff is free. We do it.
Well, he wants to put people in the field and shit. Like he wants to make it like kind of like TYT politics was, where they would go around and shit. That's what he's outlining. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the questions I have about this, okay, are he received, I believe, 2 settlements, one of which was from TYT. They settled with him. Mm-hmm. Like, I should put it that way. Like, he was able to settle 2 cases. Who knows? He received settlements as framing it. But he settled with TYT, and he settled with Huffington Post. All right. Now, I'm inclined to believe that TYT gave him money, at least something. But I can believe also that they were able to strong arm him out of pursuing it and settle with a few statements made by TYT as part of the terms of the settlement. I'll leave it at that. Huffington Post, however, is different. I can't really imagine a scenario where Huffington Post doesn't cut Jordan a check and just be like, go away.
Mm-hmm.
They cut him like a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 check and just tell him to go away. And they have him sign a couple of things, and then that's it. Whereas TYT would kind of maybe fight for it, a bit. Huffington Post might not. And I think it's probable that they didn't. So, of course, under the terms of such settlements, none of these parties can discuss them. So we're relying on Jordan's word and his apparent circumstances. Because I asked during that conversation with Jen, what's her name? His business partner.
Mm-hmm.
I asked her straight up. I was like, I know you can't discuss these settlements, but you can tell the audience if you have like a quote war chest set up and how much is in that war chest. And she was claiming, she evaded the question basically, but implied that it was nothing.
The thing is, we can't verify it because it's all under non-disclosure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've found out about it. Now, how much of this should concern us as viewers? Like, Jordan has done some decent reporting in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's gone to Flint and shit, and if he could get something like that going again, that would be great. The question is, can we hand over funds to someone who will mismanage them? And,
you're asking me?
We've seen mismanagement out of these people. We've also seen claims of unfair treatment of employees. I would consider like what Jordan
also seen poor investment.
Yeah,
and a bit of embezzlement.
Well, that's all up in the air. But what we do
not for everybody, just kind of there are segments that have done that, or that I can see that are doing that currently.
We just don't know, like, the one side claims this, the other side claims that. Then there was a settlement, and TYT retracted their statements regarding that. So, they retracted them as part of the terms of the settlement. It doesn't actually reflect necessarily what happened or what didn't happen. So, but anyways, so you've got, where was I at?
Yeah, I don't know. You kind of went on segue, and I got lost too.
TYT thieves something.
Jordan Sheridan. People who can't manage their money, their finances.
Okay. So, anyways, like there are questions about them being able to manage an organization, including the funding.
Mhm.
So, by his own account, I mean, what Jordan, and by the quote accuser's account, in my opinion, that wasn't rape. Nonetheless, it was completely inappropriate behavior. You cannot sleep with staff like that. You can't get drunk and start sleeping with staff. That just opens the company up to liability, like, immediately, if nothing else. You can't do that. So, and then you had some questions about funds or whatever. So it's questionable as to whether he can manage an organization. Like, that's one question you have to have. Will he go out there and do? There's other questions about him cheating employees, not paying them. Like, do we want to fund somebody who will not pay employees? So again, a lot of these questions are up. They are questions. It's he said, she said.
Yeah.
Jordan's done some quality work in the past. I would just say, it just depends on how much the individual values his work. At this point, there are serious questions to be had.
And why does he need to start big? I mean, he can start building up from low. I mean, if you think about it, if he does do his own reporting or just send someone else, say, I mean, you could probably do a lot of stuff for free. Couch surfing, stay at hostels, I mean, go really cheap, and find, instead of taking trains rather than planes, depends.
Are you talking about in America?
Yeah, just going and reporting.
Man, you'd be better off with just giving them a truck, an infinite gas supply, and an RV on the back of it.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to do that around America, good fucking luck. There's a reason we have a homeless population.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying that if you had a settlement, and right, you're going to build up for something where it maybe you'd be making a decent living, making 50 grand a year, and knowing that like to fly different locations maybe once every other week, and then flying back home, whatever, to like analyze, see where else to go and do live coverage of whatever events. It's probably like a $25,000 overhead, and then if you can make at least half, double that back, that's a good first start. And then the next year you realize, okay, you can keep doing that, and your goal is to make 75,000 instead of 50,000. That way you're doing well. I mean, you can do a lot if you're still single. Like for me, it'd be harder because I've got family. But if I was single, I could definitely penny pinch and go out to different locations. I mean, just like what I do with fishing, I could easily go carry bunches of stuff, do live streams, and if there's like reception. And
you could also, like I've said before, with the whole energy concept and how to use that to convert it to fuel and things like that. I mean, if you single, want to be a penny pincher, want to have a good amount of money and a good amount of freedom to move around, I mean, once you eliminate those overhead costs, and if you can produce all your own fuel, I mean, your tank, you can get vehicles that have an extra tank put onto them, and you can have a good 1,000-mile range on a car. Mm-hmm. I mean, then you got your place to where you got all your tools, you can fix everything. Worst comes to worst, you got more than enough money to tow a vehicle all the way back, or if it's no good anymore, scrap it, or, I don't know. There's, like, just me personally as an individual, if I were to set out to do these certain things, there are much better ways you can go about doing it. That's my opinion, and I can state a couple examples in what ways it would be more cost effective. But this is kind of like combining, I don't know, with the journalist aspect of it. It's like, I understand the importance of it, mm-hmm. but when you think of it from kind of a resource and money aspect, mm-hmm. it's kind of a lose.
And here's another thing is, when you go to like certain events, like summits and whatnot, I think you still have to pay to get in there, even though if you're a journalist wanting to cover it. I mean, you can register, but I think you still have to pay. So it's like if you want to report on something that happens or a big event, it's like you have to pay as a journalist just for access.
Hey, dude, I thought of another one. Look up Progressive Voice. Look up
Jake Jr.
What?
Look up Progressive Voice on the crowd.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna be mute for a bit.
Isn't he new Progressive Voice?
I don't know.
That's something his Progressive Voice.
His title is just Progressive Voice, but I think you might be right. His Twitter handle is a bit different. The Progressive Voice, that's probably him. Let's see who we have here, kid.
That looks like his moniker. $56.
Pretty sure
Jake
that's
Jr.
But I'll say this. There was a time when Kyle was a Jank Jr. Like completely. He is still kind of a Jank Jr., don't get me wrong. But there was a time when he was 100% Jank Jr. But eventually he kind of developed his own voice, right?
You mean Kyle was 300 pounds?
Did you ever watch the old Secular Talk videos?
No.
He like defended TYT at every turn. Like he does exactly what fucking Progressive Voice is doing now, right?
This is like cultism. They like lure people in, with like the guise of good deeds and all this, and then they kind of twist them to push their narrative that's counterintuitive to everybody else. Like, or not counterintuitive, but counter. God damn it! What's the basically against at least a large majority of people's interests, but they try to play it off in a way to where this will benefit you. Like they wrap it in this weird form of like, it's the same thing they complain about the right wing doing. But everything went dead.
Check.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me look at the chat. See if
just everything went quiet as hell there for a second.
Chat, can you hear us? Chat, can you hear us? I don't know if they can hear us. I guess we'll just give it a minute. But anyway, like, yeah, I argue with these people all the time, man. And they got their they have this like cult speak that they use, right? Like these specific terms, like Trump tard is one of them. I don't know how many times I've been accused by these people of being a Trump supporter or some shit like that. All right, it looks like they can hear us. I'm not sure what's up with Ebon. And I also think Kevin's mic is muted. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was muted, but I can still hear you. Ebon said he was doing something. Or Ebon, Ebon. Does he really care? Yeah.
I don't think he cares, dude. He grew up in Boston. Probably like no one who grew up around him could pronounce his name properly. I've got the same thing. I've got a weird name. Got a weird last name, so.
Yeah, your name Garden Gnome.
I know.
Who'd want to be named that?
Guarding Gnome? Is it Gnome or is it Nom? I've heard people say Nom. Nome. Like, I've heard a few different pronunciations when people read that name.
Swear to God, I always find that creepy. I've seen the garden gnomes in people's yards before.
You're scared of garden gnomes, dude? You fucking
no,
coward.
it's just creepy looking. It's like it's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scared of a fucking garden gnome.
No,
Jesus Christ, get some help, brother.
I'm not scared of a garden gnome. I mean, I've seen the movies and all that, but don't
I've
they
seen
look
the
weird?
movies.
Don't
What
they look
movies?
weird? Like when somebody you go by and they have like 100 of them in their yard.
What
And
movies?
they're
What are
all
you talking
arranged.
about?
I don't know. I swear to God, there's a movie that has killer garden gnomes in it.
Sure there is. That's just your
I
dreams,
swear to
man.
God, I'm not even shitting you. Look, just type in killer garden gnomes movie. I
Did you ever-
guarantee it had to have been like an 80s or 90s movie or something like that.
Did you ever see the King of the Hill episode about garden gnomes?
I've seen King of the Hill.
There was a King of the Hill episode about garden gnomes, and they've made animated series about garden gnomes as well, several of them. So, as far as I'm concerned, they I don't piss myself when I think about a garden gnome, unlike you.
Oh yeah,
Scared of a garden gnome. My God.
just more. It's like those people. Come on, you drive by somebody's house and you see like 100 of these motherfuckers all put through the yard, and they're all assorted to everyone's looking at the walking path and out into the road and shit. Like it's like it's like the ornament people. Like they buy all these like QVC ornaments and they just fucking like stack them everywhere throughout an entire house. It's kind of like, or somebody that's got like a fucking toy collection where it's just like it's a monstrous toy collection and it's all fucking categorized. It's like, okay, this is a little bit overkill, don't you think?
Some people are obsessed with those garden gnomes, man. It is off the hook. Like I see people with like way too many garden gnomes.
Yeah. When you can drive by somebody's house and they have a severe problem when they have like 200 garden gnomes in their yard, there's something off about them.
Yeah, some people love them, and rightfully so.
I mean,
garden gnomes are elites, in my opinion.
Could they not like get anything else besides that? I mean, at least around. I don't know. I mean, I have a turtle and a carved bear. And a couple of fish that are all carved and stuff. Those are. I don't actually. You might be able to check out some of it. Have you? I doubt you've actually seen them or whatever. Do you ever go to like fairs and all that? Like he hasn't done a show in like at least 5 or 6 years or something like that, as far as I know. But like the Brown Trout Festival or like blues festivals or things like that, or any of those sort of.
Yeah,
or
I
even
go to some of those
fairs.
festivals, man. Like I go to the festivals. Got a buddy who's a pretty highly paid wood carver. He lives just right like 2 miles down the road from me.
Yeah, well, there's a guy named Roland Lubin, and he fucking the craziest. Like I my mom dated him a long time ago, so that's how I ended up meeting him and all that. But like carpentry wise and woodworking and carving shit out of a chainsaw, it's kind of crazy what you can do. I mean, you take like a log you drag down the road, you chop it to like an 8-foot section, and like within a half an hour, you carve it into a fucking polar bear. And I was down at a couple of his shows when my mom was with him, and we went down to that was a long time ago. What was it? I want to say Sheboygan, but that's not right. It's God damn it! It's bottom left of Michigan. It's big city there. I can't remember the damn name of it for the life of me. But
St. Joseph, like that's not really a big city, but St.
No,
Joseph.
they had Alex. They had what was it? Allison Cooper. I don't know. They had Trapped play there. They had a concert and shit there. And God damn it! I wish I could.
But a Wing Stadium outside of Kalamazoo.
I swear to God, I can't remember the name of it. Okay, take your hand, bottom left of your palm. It's like big city right in that area.
Lansing.
No, bottom left of your palm. Lansing's in the middle. You live in Michigan, man. You should know how the map works with the
I've
hand.
named a bunch of cities in the left corner, man. Like
bottom left corner, away from the thumb, opposite the thumb.
St. Joseph, like
it's a bigger city. Muskegon, maybe. Maybe
Muskegon,
that's it.
That's more in the middle, but sure.
I think that might be it. That sounds familiar. I don't know, but they had a big concert there or whatever. and it literally logs sitting there, and he carved them into polar bears, and he sold each of them for $600 a piece, like not half an hour after he carved them.
Yeah, there's a lot of money in it. Like, I've got a few friends who are craftsmen of a couple of different sorts, and they go around to fairs in the summer and like sell the shit they made.
Yeah, there's a guy that lives right down the street from me that he was cutting down some trees on his property, and instead of getting rid of the stumps, he carved them into eagles and a bear and a really bizarre, creepy-looking leprechaun. So
a garden gnome, perhaps.
Right.
No, this is like full on Lucky Charms.
So we're getting off topic. So do you want to do an off topic?
Are we going to continue with the media analysis? It's up to you.
Oh, media analysis. I just joined in. I thought we were talking about creepy lawn ornaments here.
I don't know. We start talking about
See,
garden
that's what
gnome
happens
and-
when I just leave for a few minutes just to take a phone call.
Evan got a call from TYT. Quit
Yeah,
talking about
that's
that
it.
shit.
Jenks, I mean Garden, don't tell him what Jenks said. Come on. Anyways, TYT, please donate. Justice Democrats. There you go. Wolfpack. They're the indie media of all indie media, totally non-corporate. Not MSN Light, more like Indie Media Max.
Rebel
Yeah, just ignore that 20 million.
Yeah, donations are donations, folks.
Yeah, it's just one big donation.
Just like Jimmy Dore says, because TYT gets $20 million, you know, they've got integrity, so you don't have to worry about it. Doesn't matter who it comes from.
All right, Stevie, like we were kind of looking for more topics. Like, what have you got for me? Like, who do you want to cover?
Who? What?
You want to, like, we were going through various indie media people and discussing all that stuff.
Let's check out this Redneckonomics person's Patreon.
How much is she making? It's too much.
Yeah, Stevie needs to make some. You got to make an account, Stevie. Oh, you do. Aha. Oh, she's got it. Here we go. Hey, you got to keep it. I like how she does. Guess what? She got it. Showed. There we go. See?
$27. She's what
Was
is
that a
this?
Bernie
Corruption?
thing?
Where's she
Yeah,
getting
that's
this
a
money
party
from?
melon.
But it's good. We're
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all just ragging on
Totally
people.
forgot to update that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to update when you don't have a computer, which is also partly my fault.
Don't
I would
worry,
imagine
Stevie.
so.
Like, it's a seed in the ground. Like, you got it there. There's some money in it. And, like, when you're ready to rock and start, like, trying to really do it, like,
Yeah.
it's all, like, set up and ready to roll for you.
Mhm.
All right, switch to anything goes. Or are you guys ready to put TYT up on a pedestal again? No?
I don't know
Let's
if
look at
no one
Alex
has any more.
Jones. Does Alex Jones have a Patreon? I'm curious.
Dude, that guy would not need.
Does he have a Patreon or a Hatreon or a GoFundMe or an InfoWars Patreon or something like that?
No, it doesn't look like it, but he does have someone trying to make money from it.
Serious?
There's an info, real Alex Jones, 6 Patreons, $7.
Is that like a knockoff account?
Yeah, it's a knockoff account. But it's funny because it's just, I don't know. I wonder how much people would actually get if they made just a spoof account and see if people donated to it.
Yeah, but you got to make it really controversial, like just something to take a stick and just shove it up everybody's ass and they throw a hissy fit. You know, and then I guarantee the money would roll in real quick and you could run out the back door. But you got to make it really clickbaity. And it can't be like the circle and the arrow on the screen clickbaity. You got to make this manipulative, emotional, just assholeism clickbaity.
All right, so that's it for this topic. We went way long. and off topic quite a bit. So we're going to switch to off topic. So people, if you want to stay on, go ahead. Zoom, if you want to stay on, go ahead. We're just going to be offline for just a few minutes while I update. All right, thanks. So stop the stream, stop the stream.
I've got to go get something to eat pretty soon.
Yeah, same.